Hello.
Hello.
Hello, how are you?
Hi.
Hi,
What's your name?
Kevin.
Kevin, Molly. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, JJ. Hello.
Hi.
So let's start off because
Okay.
you're new, JJ, coming into it.
Yeah.
How is it coming into such an interesting family dynamic with a whole bunch of secrets that you're? Were you aware of the secrets that you're going to start alluding to during this upcoming season, or?
I was thinking about all the conversations we had where you're like, wait a minute, what happened and how did that?
Because I think Molly was saying at the panel, we shot the locations first, and so they have to think ahead and shoot bits from the whole season up front before we know what a lot of the season is. So you're doing stuff completely. You just have to commit to it. You have to commit to it and trust. A lot of big trust exercise. And me, as the outsider, there's this incredibly tight cast and family, and my character is an outsider. So to a certain degree, it works to be the imposter, as it were.
But you realize in that moment what an absurd job it is, You're going, well, that's because, the second alien robot came, and then then there was that's before the alien fight, and
How will Maureen respond this season to this new set of challenges? Where every time they tackle something, she thinks she has everything figured out. It's like, bam, everything's new all over again.
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the things that the writers sort of explored this season is what happens when Maureen comes up to the edge of her ethos, which is that every problem has a solution. And actually, that might not be true. One of the things that I have found interesting in playing her this season is just sort of exploring exploring her selfishness in a way. This is a woman who, from the time she was a girl, just believed it was her destiny to be out there in space. Unlike her daughter, unlike Mina's character who's terrified of it. And so, although the hope is that I will have made a better life for my children by bringing them out here, in fact, I have put them in life-threatening danger day after day after day. And there's a point at which I think John sort of calls her on it early on. He's like, we're okay, and you want to take us, why do you keep wanting to? So that's a part of what we got to.
Is Maureen really driven because there are certain situations where she does go off on her own? Does she now start to place a little bit? Is it because of lack of trust that she thinks that she's the only one that can solve the problem, or is it because she feels like she needs to be the leader?
I think she is a leader. I don't even know that she thinks about that. I think she's a leader, and she will do whatever is necessary to protect her family. But she also she's ambitious in a way. It's not the kind of ambition that is about, she's ambitious for knowledge. She's ambitious for experience. It's one of the things I think that JJ's character and Maureen, they're both scientists. They're both sort of engineers that come, both of them, from a place of real, that their intelligence is linked to wonder. And take it away, please.
One thing I read, most of our story, what I got to, was with Molly and Max. And I love what you said about she's a leader, is that was the dynamic that I really enjoyed playing, was that I come in and theoretically on paper I'm the chief of artificial intelligence engineering. So theoretically I'm sort of the boss. You say when the person, you're the name on those memos that I saw. But very quickly I'm aware that there's someone who is far more capable in a sort of in the field extreme environment. And that dynamic was fun to play. That there's, that there's you have this sort of like this. I turn up the base and say, "Hey, look at me, I'm the boss."
Right.
But then very quickly we're in these environments, dangerous environments, and I have
she
to.
can handle.
Yeah, way better than I can. So that was, and so can Max to a certain degree. So not that I'm the useless scientist in the field, but that was a nice dynamic for all three of us to find which skills work best in any environment. But you were very definitely the leader of us.
how was it working? I asked this question with the other tables. Working with practical effects and CGI effects, and do they show you pre-visualization of what you're supposed to be looking at and stuff like that?
All of the above. Yeah, they definitely have a lot of previs that they produce, before we shoot a lot of that stuff.
There's a lot more practical than you'd think. That's what's incredible, is that they build that stuff. I mean, like, besides anything, like you saw the clip of floating giant fishy squiddy thing.
Yeah.
They built it. If there's a vehicle, or we go on location, that's what surprised me when I came to the show. I was expecting it just to be, I'm going to spend 6 months in front of a green screen, and
That's what I thought it was going to be when I took the job, and then I'm at the bottom of a waterfall.
Just about the only.
Yeah. And they're like, yeah, you're an action hero. No, I'm not.
There's one bit when I'm flying one of the. That's the only time. Otherwise, they do a lot of that. When we're out on locations, they would. It's almost augmented reality that they'd add on to. They're not putting giant green screens
That's
up.
right. And there's one episode later in the season that you'll see where we do it's a very, very heavy visual effects episode. And in fact, our head of visual effects, Jabbar, who wins all the awards and did Game of Thrones, directed it. So that one in particular is fairly heavy green screen. And that's a different kind of experience because it's so much about your imagination. It's so much about acting in a real vacuum. With someone going like, there's a space whale, and you're like, you just feel goofy. But
I'd take it off Max all the time. Figure out how to pitch the size and the scale. Because I'd never been part of this world. I kind of think, what is everyone else doing?
It's always bigger than you think, right? It's always sort of like you think it's here, and then you kind of have to go, oh no, it's going to be. But it's amazing to do this work and then see what they've done when they get the visual effects in. It's just astonishing. It's massive. It's like a big movie.
Do you have a personal favourite sort of scene you filmed?
This season, there's a few really nice scenes. There's a scene, I don't think if there's something, I can't tell you too much about it, but there's a really nice scene that John and I filmed that's in the very first episode that is about that conflict I was talking about, of Maureen, they're in a situation now where they're safe, and they should probably stay where they are, and Maureen just can't. She just can't. So there's that. There's very fun scenes with Parker where we're really up against each other.
We were in Alberta for a couple of weeks, and it was and the weather was brutal, and it was meant to be dry and hot and nice, and we're all in summer gear.
It's meant to be this.
And then we got 3 foot of snow, and it was brutally
mud,
cold,
unbelievable.
Couldn't get
mud.
the trucks in and out. It was and we had some horseback stuff. Can I say that? No, I can't say that. Well, they're always on a planet as a colony.
I'll edit it out later.
Yeah. And I think back on it, and it was horrible at the time, but I really I look back very fondly of it.
It was pretty fun.
It was great.
We were shooting in just outside Drumheller, which is where all of the dinosaur bones.
It's the highest concentration of T-Rexes on Earth.
Yeah. And literally, we would be shooting, and we weren't in Dinosaur National Park, but just outside of it on some private land. And you just go, oh, look, there. And there'd be just fossils everywhere.
Falling out of the land.
Dinosaur bones. And
literally go, there's a vertebra of something 60 million years old.
Honestly,
it
was. And you don't, nobody should.
You're not allowed to take any of it home with you. My son has not gone to school with lots of showing. I'm just saying.
Is Maureen's relationship with Dr. Smith
adversarial
in terms of if there was a cat fight between the two of you, or as a real drawn out fight, who do you think would really win?
I think we're pretty evenly matched, is the truth. I think part of we were talking about it in the panel, but in some ways, these two women are, different sides of the same coin. They are both really ambitious. They are both really competent and self-sufficient and able and smart. One of them thinks she's doing it for all the right reasons, and the other one, puts herself is clear about her selfishness. The thing about a character like, in the original as well, one of the great things about the show is that you have this villain, and then you have to live with them anyway. It's not like, oh, we found out you're bad, you're going into jail. Well, jail is a room that is next door, and we have to be the jailers, so it's a very complicated. And Parker is just. I could watch her all day, every day. She's just absolutely the most inventive actress. She can make something out of absolutely nothing, and she does it every day. She's brilliant. The very first shot you see of her in season 1, she's been locked up, and it's Christmas, and it basically we hear her, and then she's like lying in this window, just lounging. It's brilliant.
I had one of the episodes. All of my stuff in that episode is just Parker and I in a very small room full of millions of monitors, and I knew very quickly to just sit still and let her do her stuff around, and I'll be the sounding board. That was great. It was a real experience.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, guys.